So I had another subject that I've had this idea on for a really long time. The Covenant system in Dark Souls is completely broken, as we all know. But, oh man, if they would just do one thing, one fix. I mean, maybe this is just too hard to code and it's too much, but if From Software would release a patch that allowed for Darkmoons to invade Darkwraiths in any area, as opposed to how it is now, where they can only invade in unbeaten boss areas. If they would change it so moons, not wraiths, moons, Darkmoons, could invade Darkwraiths in any area, it would add so much to the game, in my opinion. It would create a good versus evil scene, because Darkmoons and Darkwraiths would be constantly fighting each other. Because as it is now, a Darkwraith sits at a bonfire in an area that he's beaten and invades over and over and over and over again with zero risk of losing anything except for a match. I mean, the guy's not even at risk of losing soul. Nothing. You sit at a bonfire and you spawn right where you invaded at. So even if you lose the fight, even if you lose the invasion, you come right back and you recover. So if they changed it so wraiths or so moons could invade Darkwraiths anywhere, gosh, it would add so much. Number one, it would add a good versus evil scene base. Number two, it would give incentive to indict. Right now an indict is icing on the cake of a kill for a Darkwraith. It's meant to be, a punishment. So the Darkmoons will come and get revenge. But as it stands, Darkmoons can't, because Darkwraiths just camp bonfires in areas they've beaten. So how there's a disconnect there. If they would change it so Darkmoons could invade Darkwraiths in any area, like I said, A, it would create a good versus evil scene. B, it would give incentive to indict. C, it would make the Book of the Guilty, combined with a patch that only allowed one entry per account, like it is on Xbox. On PlayStation 3, you see these people that have BB glitched 10 times, and they got their name 10 times in a row, all over the book. But whatever, that's beside the point. If people had incentive to indict, which this would give, it wouldn't matter, because the shitty Darkwraiths would be invaded and killed by the good Darkmoons, and when you are killed by a Darkmoon, you lose a sin. So a shitty Darkwraith that does nothing but campfires all day and racks up indictments would lose those indictments, would lose them, because he would lose to the invading Darkmoons. And every match, that every Darkmoon that killed him, he would lose a sin. Therefore, the Book of the Guilty would actually hold some meaning. 1, 2, 3. One little change. Darkmoons can invade wraiths anywhere. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fourth thing is it prevents Darkwraiths from being able to sit there with zero risk, literally zero risk, and invade people. It's broken. It's a broken covenant system, and I think this one change would just totally change the dynamic of everything to allow Darkmoons to invade Darkwraiths in any invadable area. I'm not talking about the Firelink Shrine. I'm just talking about the blue orb should ignore the fact, should not even pay attention to whether a boss has been beaten or not. That simple change would add so much. Oh man, it would be awesome. And at this point, I know the game's a year and a half old, and they're already working on Dark Souls 2, so I know it's not going to happen, but it's just this idea that I've had for so long. I'm sure other people have had it too. It's a pretty simple idea. But man, I mean, it would just fix everything that has to do with the Book of the Guilty and indicting and all of this good versus evil, blue versus red. And it would just add a whole dynamic to the game that is so close to being there. Like, this one little change would just complete it. I mean, incentive to indict combined with, the shitty Darkwraiths being beaten up by the Darkmoons, getting knocked down in the book, and actually, changing it so the book actually shows the good players because they don't get beaten by the Darkmoons. It would be awesome. So, yeah, there's a quickie.